Hi, my name is Imo, and welcome to my channel In My Opinion, where we discuss creative outlets to endlessly inspire hope, connection, and self-love. So today I wanted to talk about that period in a dating or romantic relationship where the two people come together and they have to align. I don't know if it's a period within like a dating relationship that is leading towards like becoming more steady and stable. I don't know if it's a period that people really talk about all that much, because I haven't heard it talked about like amongst my friends or some of the circles that I dabble in, whether it be like on YouTube or articles I read. I haven't heard it talked about a lot, but maybe I'm just not reading the right material. But I always find that in my dating relationships, there's always this period of alignment. There's this period where two people come together. So like me and like a guy I'm dating come together. There's definitely chemistry. There's definitely a spark. There's like common interests. There's common ways of seeing life and humor and all of those things, all of the things that we kind of put into the realm of chemistry. So all of that is there. But then I find that there is this period where the two of us need to get onto the same page in certain areas of our who we are as people. So it might be like we have different values in certain areas, we might have different outlooks about certain things, different perspectives, different ways of seeing life. And then we'll need to align so that we can have a healthy and comfortable relationship. And honestly, I find that period of aligning hard. I find it very challenging, very tiring, very strenuous. And I think it can be mentally exhausting. And I'm wondering, you guys, have you gone through that process of aligning in your relationships? And what was that like? Comment below. So I think that the period of alignment can take some time, and I guess it looks different for different couples. I think because there's a lot of things that you figure out about your partner as you engage in that process of dating, as you engage in that process of exploration. And as you date and you spend more time together, you are put in different scenarios, different situations, circumstances come up, and then you see like, ooh, do we have the same values in this area? Or wow, this person is triggered in these areas. Or wow, they still need to heal here. Or wow, we have a very different outlook in terms of such and such. We see these things in different ways, and how are we going to get onto the same page? So I think that process of alignment can, maybe it can even take like most of your relationship, I guess, depending. But I would say in the very beginning, you're going through a lot of new situations quite quickly, and you're having to see like, do we really have the potential? If you're someone like me who is looking, for a long-term partnership, do we really have the potential to do we really have the potential to go the distance? Do we really have the potential to be long-term partners? Can we align in these different areas? So in some of my previous relationships, alignment looked like maybe we had different ways of seeing the world or different viewpoints, like one person coming from more of a religious background and the other person not, and kind of negotiating or compromising on what our daily lives would look like going to church, being involved in like religious activities or not. That is all part of that alignment process. For other couples, it could look like, do we want to have children or not, or what that looks like. It could be sexuality, like having sex, how often, different people's sex drives, contraception that you use. It could also look like family. Like some people, maybe they send money to their family, and their family may be very involved in their lives, and perhaps you might meet someone who that isn't the case. So aligning in those areas. It could be like having opposite sex, like for me in a heterosexual relationship, it could be like having opposite sex friendships. Like what boundaries do we have around opposite sex friendships? um, how much time do we spend with them? Do I meet your friends so that they're integrated into our lives as a couple? um, it could look like living arrangements. Like some people do eventually want to live with their partner. Some people want to get married or not get married or wait till marriage before they live with a partner. It could look like the type of relationship you might want down the line and what happens in that relationship. There are so many ways of coming together and being on the same page as a couple. I think it's really important to have these discussions to get onto the same page with your partner, or to at least attempt to. I think getting onto the same page with your partner is a process, and I think it takes time, and I think it needs to be given the time, because some of these discussions that you have are not quick overnight fixes, and they may be situations that you need to explore or even seek outside help to get onto the same page. And quite frankly, they may be things that you are working on inside of yourself first. So if you're not fully settled or resolved inside of yourself in regards to some of these areas, how will you then be able to properly bring it up with a partner or properly talk about it with a partner, because you yourself don't really know where you stand on some of these issues? So that's why aligning with a partner can take a bit of time, and I think it really does need to be given the time that it should have. I think there are certain things too that you only find out in the midst of the relationship, but I feel that aligning and getting onto the same page and discussing these issues is a way that you create security and safety in your relationship, because I find that a very important part of a relationship is stability. And when you can kind of discuss these topics and have a more concrete plan for these areas, there is more of a sense of stability that will develop for your relationship as a couple. I think that being in a relationship, it's not really sexy to say, but I think that being in a relationship is almost like a contract that you have with your partner, and you create this dynamic and you create these rules and rituals and routines together of how your relationship will be for you guys, to create that sense of togetherness, oneness, safety, and security and stability for you as a couple. And so, yeah, the alignment period is very important, I would say. I think that sometimes at the beginning of a relationship, we can get so caught up in the newness and novelty of it and the excitement that we almost don't really discuss these topics until much later down the road. And that's why sometimes you'll find that couples need to enter therapy later on, or there are challenges that emerge later on, because a lot of these topics are not discussed at the very beginning. And I remember, I think it was like a podcast I was listening to where they were talking about front loading, or having the more challenging and difficult conversations in terms of aligning or getting on the same page, or at least hearing out each other so you know where you both stand on things. This idea of front loading and having those discussions at the very beginning of a relationship, rather than waiting further down the line and having it then, where maybe things might be a little bit more complicated, having those discussions later, because like when you have it earlier, you can perhaps create some kind of a plan together for being on the same page. Or if you have values that just completely don't align, then you can say goodbye sooner rather than investing so much and then having these conversations later where it's a little bit tricky and harder to get onto the same page. It could even look like how you work on your relationship. For someone like me, I've always wanted to be in therapy with a partner right from the beginning of a relationship, but for other people that might not be something that they want to do, or it might be something that they're very uncomfortable with. So there's so many different ways that you will need to align with your partner, or at least discuss these things. So I would love to hear more about your alignment period in the relationships that you have been in. I see this alignment kind of happening more so with romantic relationships, but perhaps they have happened in other types of relationships like friendships or even family. Who knows, like even in-laws, like you and an in-law, and perhaps there's an alignment period there. I would love to know, what relationships have you found that you've had to undergo this alignment stage, and what did it look like for you? And what strategies or tips or tools did you use to make that alignment period go well? Or what do you wish you would have done during that time? I would love to hear from you. Please comment below and like and subscribe for more content. Bye.